All you focus on is the masterful art of dancing through the trees as fast as you can. Branches whip your face, stinging your skin. That monster's breath stinking of alcohol stung worse, though. Oh God, you need to throw up again. Right as you are about to heave, you force it back down. Your legs burn in the morning air, and the sun flashes through the canopy as the trees rush by. They blind you for but a moment at a time, as if they could erase the vision of a body being eaten alive from your memory. That same body would have eaten you alive in a different sense had that creature not interfered. Your head spins dizzy when you stop to avoid the thick thorns of a bramble bush. Most of its fruit has been taken. The remaining ones are lower than your knees, where stray dogs and wolves are known to soil them with their urine when they mark their territory. The scarce amount of berries left indicates that you are too close to the village, that you are still on his territory. The people of his village will not hesitate to end you if you come back wearing a nightdress stained with your master's blood. That creature might come after you for seconds. Wrapping around the bush, sprinting away from your doom, you are fueled by the most basic of instincts, to survive. It matters not that without a kirtle, cloak, or hood to protect you from the frigid wind thrashing your hair, it is starting to get quite cold on this autumn morn. Forget that your loose hair and underwear soaked red would produce the impression unto any passer-by that you are either mad or a witch. All that you require is to live another day. You shall worry about however unlikely your current state is to inspire someone else to help you when you find them. No, you worry not. You simply run as far as your bare feet take you. They hurt, bleed from sharp twigs prickling them, and have somehow acquired seeping wet blisters between your toes. You are dirty, sweaty, and tired. The sun has grown as low as it was this morning. When did an entire day pass? Barely can you walk further. A small ditch, like the ones deer rest in, will serve as your bed tonight. If you are capable of sleep, that is. In the following days, you grow thirsty, hungry. The dew on the leaves in the mornings alleviates your thirst, and the occasional stream has not contained any diseases to end you yet. You take care, though, to not bathe in any of them. The last thing you need is a chill in your lungs because the nights are starting to grow too frosty to bear without sheets or fire to keep you warm. And it is not for want of knowledge that you light no flames at night. You have no means, no firestones, nor flint, nor rush, and you would hate to alert anything or anyone of your presence. Creatures of the night seem to have deserted these woods. At least, you are fortunate enough to not encounter any. You should like for things to remain that way. The next village you stumble upon after a week and a half of wandering is fortified by a barrier of big, great tree trunks, like the ones the barbarians used against the Romans. Your stomach growls as you watch them bring in their harvest, berries and vegetables from the forest, grains from the fields, meat from the hunt. It grumbles more when that night, resting against the wooden wall, the smell of meat stew and golden bread teases you to come inside, to taste their fresh delights. Had you wanted to, you would still not be capable of such a feat. Their gates were drawn at sunset, making any effort to come inside futile until the next morn when they will be opened again. In spite of that, your belly complains. And in spite of that, you await in front of the gates the next morning. The first to emerge is an older man. A guard, perhaps, stunned by your haggard state. One loaf would be enough, you say, please? The bird's song in the silence which passes seems awfully chipper in hindsight. He turns and yells something obscene you care not to remember. 10 other men join him, armed with pitchforks and swords. They hand him his axe. They take you in, one of them smiles. He says to another, "Disguised as people now, are they?" And they ready themselves. You run. They follow. This land and its inhabitants are cruel. You should have known better. Somewhere in the blur of trees and leaves you lose them. Or rather, they slow when you pass some unknown border, make the sign of the cross as if to protect against it, and turn back to the village whence they came. If this is an area infested by creatures of the night or some other horror, you know not, but you will take your chances with whatever resides here, then those you know will kill you upon sight of your sorry state or the slave's mark on your left wrist. Your stomach is empty, yet you continue onward. You hurl out yellow bile when you come face to face with staked creatures of the night before a looming dark castle as the sun starts to set. The two human corpses closest to its entrance stink most of all. Like the bramble bush, something has marked its territory with the stench of piss and death. Your shift is crunchy with dried blood. You are wasting away. You will take your chances with whatever resides here. One last gamble, you tell yourself, cannot hurt much more than what you have endured so far, and it might be what keeps you alive. The heavy doors give way as you lean into them. One last gamble. The amber glow of the sunset disappears into darkness as you step over the threshold of the castle. You cannot see much but black, and you wonder if its occupant might have left after committing such a gruesome act as impaling the two bodies and creatures of the night outside. Should that be the case, perhaps it would be best to clean them up yourself and make this place a more permanent residence. The villagers seem to stay away well enough. This would be much more comfortable than a ditch on the ground. You turn, but before you can make your leave, cold steel pushes into the back of your neck. You hold your breath. Is the danger of death not enough to secure my peace? The question floats through the still evening air, barely above a whisper, yet all the louder for it. Judging from the voice's volume, its owner ought to be too far away to hold the sword directly. There is something in his quiet manner which assures you he is assessing you, does not yet see you as a threat. With a steady exhale from you, a small puff of smoke appears in the shaft of sunlight coming in through the partly open castle doors. If you made a dash for it at this very second, that sword would not hesitate to stab right through you by way of whatever magical means at his disposal. As you are not facing him, you decide talking might prove to placate, if not distract him from your possible escape. Must my reason for coming in not be great if I risk to enter despite the clear marking of territory out front? A snide scoff is his response. Aren't you devoid of humanity, he poses, the tip of the blade now piercing your skin, if those corpses fail to make you retch. Little does he know your bile is splattered all over the stone of the stairs below. So engaging him was a wrong move on your part. As foolish as the idea blossoming in your mind may be, you are running out of options. You will heal. If this works out. One last gamble. In spite of the steel slicing into your flesh, you turn to meet two silvery eyes. For a moment, they stare into yours from the top of once grand stone stairs, because the many tears and holes in both the dark steps and crimson carpet reveal their current dismal state. The next instant, they focus on the beads of blood wrapping a thin, stinging line around the side of your throat. He seems spellbound, his eyes hazy. He is distracted. The pressure of the sword retreats, the cold evening air seeping into and soothing the cut. You take a careful step backwards, towards the light bleeding inside. All is silent. You are not quite sure what a sight you are, but you feel the sunset illuminating yourself from behind must blind him, at least somewhat, to the details of your features. What you are sure of is that the man in front of you is beautiful. His skin is so translucent, the pale blue of his veins kisses its white surface, disseminating an intricate network like the marbled veins of a Greek statue. Cascading over his broad shoulders is his hair, as silver as his eyes. Even the orange glow of the sunset gushing over him fails to awaken the impression of gold. He stands deathly still like a statue, not uttering a word. He does not rouse any sign of life as you take another step away from him. You have nothing to say to this creature, surely devoid of humanity, much more lacking than yourself. At least your chest rises when you breathe, your cheeks burn with anger, and your brow furrows with fury. Not a single breath leaves him as your feet carry you outside. The sword stays at the threshold of the heavy doors. You hold his silver gaze as you are bathed in the stench of rot, and he does not look you in the eye. Instead, his eyes follow a crimson droplet trailing down to your collarbone, and he does not move. He likes blood, you think. There, surrounded by darkness, stands the Silver Man, devoid of humanity. Surrounded by the smell of death and urine and bile, stands you, full of life pouring out the cut he inflicted. After you are down 2 steps, the doors slam in your face. Ihix, He is devoid of humanity. He likes blood. Vampire. He hasn't slept in a week. They still lie upon his bed, dead, rotting. He has done his best to ignore the pungent air of death, but it's penetrated even into the cellars and his old bedroom. Everywhere he goes, their reeking, rotted stench haunts him, never to cease retelling the story of that night. And worst of all, he'd liked it. He let them enter his bed and even begged them right until the end. I am not against you. What a load of shit. He was against them. He'd killed them after all. He hadn't been careful enough. He does not know which is more miserable, the memories in every corner of this castle tainted by his patricide or his murder poisoning his insides. He is to blame for both of them. It's his fault. He hadn't been careful enough, was absent when they took his mother, allowed them in his bed, and there they are. Hot red tears flow down his face again. He's wrecked by sobs again. This never-ending cycle of misery continues on again. He cannot help it. And that's what enrages him. He has made himself powerless, inert for fear of doing something horrible again. That's not how it should be. As terrible as he is, he's responsible for his father's death. He is responsible for the death of 2 capable vampire hunters. He could have been responsible for the death of a Belmont. He is wretched, terrible, cruel, but not incapable. A resolve starts to freeze his cold heart. He is wretched, terrible, cruel. He should act like it. Never again will he let someone hurt him. Never again will he get close enough to kill. He can't believe he considers taking up his father's old practice to keep humans out. Wryly he laughs through his tears. Father, would you be proud? Yes, my boy. Finally you understand why they all need to disappear. Damn him, what he wouldn't give to revive his father. If he went back, he would join in his genocide just to be near. But he's too weak. A fire burns inside and vaporizes his boiling tears. He need not waste time. They don't deserve his. He sees red, and he's in that infernal damned room again. Their foul smell overwhelms him, but he pushes through the thick putrid air to quickly clothe them in their stupid chemises he'd given them. These things are much too frilly, too refined for their lot, and another flash of red tells him he stands on the threshold of the castle with their decaying flesh on his hands. He all but throws them to the ground with a sick squelch. Father had given up staking after his mother, but there was one night, right before she moved to her cottage near Lupu and his father went away to travel, that he was awoken and taken through the part of the castle he was not to enter. He was used to the maze-like structure of his home, yet the hallways his father led him through then were much more confusing than any other he'd roamed before. Now he retraces his footsteps from back then into the inner sanctum. Within lies the armory and the torture of the past. The stakeroom still holds hundreds, if not thousands, of stiff wooden rods imbued with magic and science to make their recipients suffer. He has no need of such magics, but it does him good to know he'll not give them an easy place to rest. He'd like to think they will feel the sting of all the microscopic spikes of the wood slathered in the venom of the most vicious snakes Father could find. With the same acrimony Father used to wrap his books in the skin of his enemies, he will stake them outside for all to see. A warning to abandon all hope, that sort of thing. He needs to be alone. And this worked well enough for dear dead old Dad. Maybe not. Mother had found the castle and banged the door with the pommel of her knife until Father had let her in and demanded he teach her how to be a doctor, in spite of the hundreds of corpses outside his doorstep. What are 2 humans and some night creatures to the ghost who has just waltzed through his door? When he first sees you, he thinks you're one of them, come back from the dead, to haunt him, like they do his dreams. With your back turned, hair flowing loose, you're as thin as a corpse, barely there, your chemise as grimy as theirs when he staked them. He is all but ready to slice another throat. He's done it before, he could do it again. He shouldn't, but he will if it means to protect himself. As you are, though, unarmed, you pose little actual threat to him. But when you go to face him, obscured by the light beaming behind you, all he sees is the red pouring out your neck like theirs. All over the fabric-stained crimson, that bloody damned red like theirs. and he's petrified. Thankfully, you take a step back, and another, and you're outside. The angry eyes staring back at him now are not theirs. They are new, and he wishes he'll never see them again. With all his might, he commands the doors to slam, shutting you out for good.